Hello Flosstube, welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube episode number 34 and today is Sunday the 13th of November 2022. As usual it's been a while but I hope you're all doing well and it really was time for me to come back. I've got so many things to show you and so many things that I've been working on. But of course, like all of us, life has been super busy. But I just had to make the time today to pop in and see you all. So thank you if you are a returning subscriber. I don't know how you guys put up with me, I really don't. But if you're a new subscriber, welcome along. And thank you all for your comments and messages and emails. Those of you that bought me a coffee and just generally for being a fantastic bunch of subscribers. So things, as I said, have been fairly busy. Nothing earth-shatteringly exciting, just day-to-day life. I'm very busy at work at the moment. There's lots going on there. Of course, I have young Alfie in the house now. He's now 7 months old. I'm not going to bring him into the conservatory today because he is a little bit of a bundle of mischief and he will probably just go through all the things that I've got laid out and make a bit of a merry mess. So I'll leave him where he is snoozing with his dad in the lounge at the moment. But we did have a lovely walk out this morning. It's lovely at weekends to be able to take him out for some nice long walks. So he does take up a huge amount of my time and he's a bit jealous of my stitching. I'm able to sit and sew at the sewing machine because he will lay on the floor and be quite content. But if I'm sitting in the lounge stitching, he will be trying to get my floss, trying to get my chart, trying to get the fabric that I'm stitching on, getting his nose dangerously close to the needle as I work. So I have to take the moments that I can as and when they arrive. And I do try and get some stitching done most lunch times when I'm at work. So I've been slowly plodding along with some projects and I do actually have a few finished objects to show you, fully finished as well, I know, which is pretty amazing. So I'm really pleased about that. I've got some WIPS to show you, of course. I've got some happy mail to share with you, tiny bit of haul, all sorts of wonderful things. So I'm just going to check down at my notes to make sure because as usual my head is just a big old jumble of stuff and I need to try and stay on track as much as I can because I want to try and keep the editing down to a minimum again just to try and save a little bit of time later on today. Now I did mention last time that I was going to do a giveaway when I reached 10,000 subscribers and due to my very lackadaisical approach to floss tubing of late, I think it's going to be quite a while before I get to that point. So I'm going to actually pretend like it's 10,000 subscribers and we'll do that giveaway later on in the episode. So stick around for that if you will. So I've got some nice goodies to share with you all. But I think I'm going to start off with my fully finished objects and share those with you first because I'm very excited about those because it's not very often that I actually have an FFO to share with you. Okay, so let's dive straight in with my You're the Boss cross stitch, which is a chart by Laurie Holt and published by It's So Emma. And I do have a winner to announce later on in this video of a copy of this chart from the last video. So here it is completely FFO'd. I'll hold that so you can see it. Hopefully it's in the centre of the frame. And I completed this using all the called for threads. And I believe I used a 28 count Lugana for mine, which I'm really pleased with the size of it. The frame, I framed it myself. This is a frame, it was a picture I picked up in a local charity shop and I just sort of rubbed it down a bit and put a little bit of cream acrylic paint on and then sort of dry brushed it off again just so that it had a little bit of a distressed look. I used some mount board and covered it with some Lorry Holt fabric here. I pretty much copied the finish that was on the front of the chart. And the actual stitching itself, I used some sticky board for the first time. I've seen Priscilla do it a million times. I thought, oh, that's going to be super simple. Well, I got in a bit of a state with it, and my finish isn't exactly straight or square or even, but after several attempts and the sticky board was rapidly losing its stickiness and just becoming bored, I thought I would quit while I was kind of ahead. And I'm happy with how it's turned out, and it is a fully finished object, which I am super pleased with, and eventually this will hang on the wall in my sewing space. So that's my first FFO for you. Pop that one down. I've got so much stuff around me today, it is a little bit of a joke, and it's going to be good for me once I film this episode to be able to put everything away and get all organised again, because this has been a while coming, and I tend to sort of squirrel things to one side thinking that's for my next video, that's for my next video, and then just end up with piles of stuff everywhere. Okay, the next fully finished object. This is my friend Paula and I, Paula of Eva Faith on Etsy. She and I did last year and this year a Halloween stitch along together. And last year's was a design from the Blackbird Designs Winds of Autumn book, which is this one here, which I'm sure lots of you have got this booklet. And we stitched along with, I think it's called Spell of the Moon, this chart here. And I finished my stitching last year but never FFO'd it. And this year we decided to stitch Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee, something from there, or as many as we could from there. Haha, that didn't happen. Yeah, from Brenda Gervais. I'll show you that in a moment. But in my defence, Paula, I didn't finish our sale from Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee, but as a consolation prize, I did fully finish Spell of the Moon. So let me show that to you now. So here's my finish of Spell of the Moon, and the fabric that I've used for this was dyed for me by Paula. It's a 32 count linen called Dark Side of the Moon. I'll pop a link to Paula's shop in the description box down below for you. And I finished this off with some Lady Dot Creates chenille, and it's the first time I've actually used that for finishing, and I really like the look of it, and it was actually easier to put on than I thought it was going to be. And the threads I think are mostly called for or thereabouts. I can't actually remember, and that's naughty. Fabric on the back I think is an April Rosenthal, just these spider cobwebs, which I think works really well. And again, another first for me with this project, I used the crushed walnut shells to stuff it with. They were bought as the lizard litter or pet reptile litter from Amazon, and they've worked really well. It's very tactile, it's very sort of squishy. I don't know if you can hear the crunchy sound as well. I really like sort of squidging it about, and I think it gives it a nice definition as well. Most of my small pillows are finished with the fibre fill, but I really enjoyed this one. So that's another little FFO. He made it out in time for Halloween, which I was really pleased about. Not by much, but yeah, he's good to go for next year. I might even leave him out for a little while just to enjoy him a little bit longer. So that's another one. Still another FFO to share with you. I'm just going to move Blackbird Designs out of the way. And if you remember, I was stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop in their Make-A-Wish stitch along for this year just gone, which was the Heartfelt. And here's my finish. So I made mine into a pillow, and I finished it on the back. I made an apron string quilt block, just using some fabrics that I thought would coordinate nicely with the front, and stuffed it with fibre fill again. Now, the eagle-eyed of you among you will notice at the bottom there are a couple of pins. This isn't sewn up at the bottom yet. I had that moment when you finish something, fully finish something, and then you've kind of got fed up with looking at it, and you've been working on it for a while and it hasn't exactly gone according to plan, and you look at it and you think, that is dreadful, and am I happy with it? Am I going to keep it like that? Do I need to change it? So I didn't commit to sewing it up at the bottom, and I thought I would share it with you on my Flosstube and see what your opinion is. The thing I don't like about it, I love the back, I'm pleased with that. I love the stitching, I think it came out really well. I used all the called for Heartfelt flosses, and I used Fibre on a Whim 32 count stone linen, and I really like the way that linen plays along with all the flosses. There's a little bit of fluff on here as well, we'll ignore that. And the pom-pom trim I really liked because it picks out this pink here really, really well. But this pom-pom trim was a little bit of a tinker, because when I was trying to sew it together, it has got quite a thick sort of, the band that holds all the pom-poms together, the actual trim part was actually quite thick, and I sort of popped it in as I was sewing, and then when I turned my corners, it's my own fault, it was quite bulky when it was inside out because of the size of the pom-poms, and I didn't trim enough off the corners before I turned them, so I've got some very blunt corners, as you can see, and the way that it sort of, the trim lie as I was sewing, I've ended up with this sort of like naked corners here, and I don't know, it's grown on me a bit since I made it. It's been sort of hanging out in the sewing room, and it has definitely grown on me a little bit, but I'm still not super pleased with my finish. So I thought I'd ask you guys what you think. I suppose you could say, well, look, it's finished, it's done, you can move on, you don't want to keep going backwards, you want to move forwards with new projects. So do I just sew it up and enjoy it as it is? And if it's sitting on something, you won't be able to see those corners anyway. Or do I want to unpick it, turn it back inside out, trim the corners out, try and push them out a bit more, and even potentially I saved a little pom-pom spare one. Do I try and hand sew a little pom-pom on this corner, or am I just overthinking it? Is it fine as it is? Let me know what you think in the comments. It doesn't look too bad holding it like that, I guess. But that is Heartfelt from Fat Quarter Shop. So that's my last, is that my last FFO? I've got a really big FFO to share with you, and I don't know how I'm going to actually manage to do this. Okay, just hang on one sec, because I'm just going to grab something. Okay, the next FFO is a quilt. I'm saying FFO again, there's a little tiny, again, I'm my own harshest critic. There's a couple of little things on this that I'm going to ask your opinion on. But I was working on an apron string quilt for quite a while using all Tula fabrics, and it's finally finished. And this I'm calling, I've just noticed, why do you always notice a thread, a loose thread, when you're going to show it to somebody that you didn't think was even there and you hadn't noticed before? I've got a photograph that I'm going to pop in as well, but I'm calling this my Tula Techniques quilt, because this has got a lot of techniques in that I had not tried before in my quilting or my sewing. So you'll see here, this is one of the EPP blocks. I did start making Tula Pink's Tula's Blooms EPP quilt, and I ran out of steam, and I realised that I was probably never ever going to finish it. But I've made quite a few of these blocks here, these big sort of like hexy flower blocks. I thought it'd be such a shame to waste them. So I saved them all up and decided that I would mount the hand-stitched EPP blocks just onto some plain quilting cottons and do something with them. And then I had a brainwave, I can't remember what made me decide, but I thought I would try some apron string blocks. So I made the rest of the blocks up with the apron strings. So this comprises of quilt as you go apron string blocks, which I'd never done before and really enjoyed. EPP I had dabbled in the past, I then appliqued the EPP blocks on to the backing fabric. I then stitched in the ditch to quilt this all down. So it has got interfacing behind, but it's also got a thin layer of batting. And I completely machine stitched my binding on this as well. So lots of things that were firsts for me. I'm going to try and attempt, there's no room, I'm sort of wedged into the corner here, so there's no way I can sort of fully stand up. I'm going to try and give you an idea. It's quite a big quilt, so you'll be able to see some of the EPP blocks and the apron string blocks and how they sort of play together. It's a very bold, bright quilt, as you can see, and it was a real good stash buster. It's got a little bit crumpled now, and because it was a bit of a stash buster, and I'm on a bit of a budget at the moment. I didn't really want to be buying a whole load of backing fabric, so I think there is a little bit of a don't use bed sheets on backings of quilts, but broken all the rules on this one. I had a lovely old, I say it was old, it had been in the house for a while, but it had hardly been used. This is an old Kath Kidston 100% cotton duvet cover that I've used as the backing, and it's a really pretty print. It's nice weight of cotton. I wouldn't have used a poly cotton because I like to keep the fabric all the same. And you can see where I've stitched in the ditch, so it just goes around the whole outside of the blocks. So that's what the backing looks like. So my question then, or my thoughts were, because these EPP blocks are quite big and there's nothing really holding them to the backing or the batting other than the stitched in the ditch lines all the way around the large blocks. So I did wonder whether I should hand tie the centre of each of these EPP motifs, and then in turn the centre of the 4 apron string blocks, just hand tie that just to anchor it to the backing a little better, and if that would you know, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, and there's lots more experienced quilters and sewers out there than me, so let me know what you think. But as I said, I'll pop a photograph in anyway, but you get an idea of this quilt. I did a scrappy binding using lots and lots of scraps all the way around, which really lends itself, and I did completely machine sewed the binding on. I normally will machine the front on and then hand sew the back so that you can't see it, but again, I've kind of got over this. This had been hanging around a really long time and it was time to get it done, and I just wanted to complete it. So that's another, is it a fully finished object? Do I need to hand tie it? I think it'll probably be all right. I'm not anticipating it's going to get a huge amount of wear and tear. It'll be nice when Enzo, my baby grandson, comes round. I can pop it on the floor. It's nice and colourful if he wants to use it as a mat for sort of tummy time and for crawling around on. Yeah, so I am pleased that it's done. So let's put that to one side. I've got a quilting whip that I'll share with you later on as well. I'm just going to launch it over onto the sofa. There it goes. It's quite heavy because it's got the interfacing and the batting in as well. Okay, I've also got an FFO to show you that isn't fully finished, but I was just obsessed. This was some Halloween stitching that I did, and this is why I didn't get Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee done, Paula. This was my unicorn chart, and I mentioned it last year, and a lovely viewer, Laurie from California, got in touch with me and said that she had got a hold of the chart, and she sent it to me, and she also kindly sent me the flosses as well. So here in its finished glory is Something Wicked by La-di-da. As you can see, I didn't get around to FFO in it in time for Halloween, but I did get the stitching done, and all that black floss, 1 strand over 2 linen threads. This is a 36 count linen, with a very cheeky Jack Russell on your lap where you're actually trying to stitch was no mean feat. So I'm really pleased to have got this one finished, and I just love this. And I know there's also a free companion piece, which is called Trick or Treat Smell My Feet, which has got the 2 feet on. So I've got plenty of fabric. I'll trim this off and I'll probably stitch that on the bottom so they match. And I plan to make this one into a pillow finish as well. And I fancy having a go. I've seen some finishes where there's lots of buttons sort of hanging, like random buttons, like a button trim along the bottom. I'm not sure if there's a tutorial somewhere for doing that, but I think that looked really nice with lots of shiny black buttons hanging down. And that's the chart there. As you can see, they use quite a darker fabric than I've used. This is a 36 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart. But thank you, Laurie, for sending it to me. I had such fun stitching it, and I'm really pleased that it's done. And I'm hoping to get it finished sooner rather than later so that I can pop it away and it'll be ready to come out next Halloween. And I did get a bit panicky because you can see I started here with giving myself quite a lot of room, and then as I was stitching realised just how long this witch's curly toe goes on. I really hope her toe doesn't go all the way up there. It's quite a wide run of stitches there, but I've got plenty there. I've probably got a good just over an inch there, so there's enough room to finish that off as a pillow. And I think I'll probably put the reptile litter in there as well, because I really like that squishy feel. So that's an FO, and there is another FO, but I can't show it to you. I have to be one of those people that says I've done something but I'm not going to show it to you, which I find really annoying, but it's because it's part of a surprise that I'm sending off soon, and I don't want to spoil the surprise. But it is a stitched piece, and the only clue I'm going to give you is that it's from Heartstring Samplery. So once it's finished, I will take a picture of it and then I'll share it with you after the recipient has received it. Okay, let's put this one away and then we can move on into some other items. And I'm probably going to need to have a sip of my drink. Okay, let me do that. Just Pepsi Max today. Right, I mentioned Halloween, and in my what's it called? Kitty corn fabric bag that I made last year, I was keeping all my Halloween projects. So I had, what did I have? I have such big intentions. My stitching eyes are bigger than my stitching belly. And I rarely get done what I would like to, but I think we're probably all a little bit like that, aren't we? So I had the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee, which Paula and I were stitching. I think Paula did finish Broomhilda, I'm sure she did. We both agreed we would start at the front and see how we got on. Oh, Pumpkin Brew is the first one. But anyway, I'm digressing. And this is my sorry attempt at the sow. This is how far I got, but it's fine. I will pick up on it again, and I think I've probably got enough fabric here to do a few of those pillows. Again, this is the 36 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart. I really like this fabric. It's relatively inexpensive compared to hand dyed fabric, but you still get that effect, and I really like stitching on it. The other things I've got all the flosses here, by the way. These are mostly DMCs, all a bit bunched up. Such a lovely colour palette in that book. And the other things that I had in my Halloween bag were, where are we? Oh, that's the companion piece to Something Wicked, which I've seen some fabulous finishes of. I really like the tassels on that one. So that will definitely go on that same piece of fabric. And then I had Stacey Nash, that's a difficult one, Stacey Nash Primitives, and this is the Animal Crackers Oliver the cat, desperate to have him for Halloween, and the Cosford Rise Stitchery, the Halloween pin drum with the super cute little strawberry shape, but he's a turnip, and that is what sold this chart to me. I think that is so clever. So they will happen at some point, but they will be going back in the Halloween bag. Think about their actions until next year. Okay, how are we doing? Let me skip on to something a little bit different before I show you some more projects. And you have to forgive me because I have got all the stuff piled up on my ironing board here, as I usually do, and it's all getting a little bit unruly. So let's delve under here and find, let's put these poor winners out of their misery. Everyone that entered for the last episode's giveaway. I had 3 charts to give away. These were all courtesy of Fat Quarter Shop, who as always are so generous, not only to me but to lots of floss tubers out there. They're just amazing with the things that they share with us all. So you saw my FFO of You Are the Boss. This is not my chart, this is a brand new chart. The winner of this one is Lynn Johnson, so congratulations, Lynn. Please drop me an email using the email address down in the description box with your address, and I'll get this off to you. The next chart that I had, very timely, is Sleigh Ride. And this is an It's So Emma design, and that's been won by Amethyst Stitcher. So if you can do the same as Lynn and contact me on the email address below, I'll get this in the post to you. And finally, this was part of the Stitch Quarterly series. This is Tea Time, little play on words there from Fat Quarter Shop. Gorgeous teacup design, and this has been won by Diane Bayliss. So congratulations to you, Diane. If you can do likewise and drop me an email, and I'll get these beautiful charts in the post very quickly. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for those. That's a little bit of admin done. That makes me feel a little bit better. And they've fallen off. Let's put them back. Okay. Let me move on now to... Shall I tell you about the giveaway for this episode? This is my I'm pretending that I've hit 10,000 subscribers giveaway. Let's move some more things out of the way. You may, if you're a long-term viewer, you've probably seen this bag a lot. And I've seen this bag a lot because it's been hanging out in my sewing room for way too long. I made this bag with the intention of it being for the 10,000 subscribers giveaway. And it's time for this bag to go and do something useful with itself. So this is a hand cross-stitched panel here. This was stitched by me using Laurie Holt's Eat, Slip, Stitch, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat pattern. And I've used lots of Laurie's fabrics to finish the bag off. It has its own quirks and charms, this bag. It is completely homemade, handmade, with love, and it is unique. And there's lots of gorgeous Laurie Holt stitchy design fabric on the back there. And it's lined with, I think it's pears, little yellow pears on the fabric inside, and it's got my little bumble stitches label on there. So I hope whoever wins enjoys using this bag. And to go with this prize, I'm offering a cross-stitch journal from It's So Emma, a pack of Be In My Bonnet library cards, and if you watch Kimberly's Flosstube, Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, you'll see these used, and I think Laurie Holt uses them as well, to complete your details on the back. I'll show you one. If you haven't seen them, they are really cool. And I would love to keep them, but I'm equally really pleased to be passing them to somebody else. So they're literally like old-fashioned library books. Before we had digital libraries and all this scanning your card nonsense, we used to have lovely old-fashioned library cards, and the librarian would stamp your book. I used to work in a library when I was in the sixth form at school, and that was my favourite thing, stamping the date on the books, but I'm digressing again. So you can fill out your details on the card, the designer, the fabric, the flosses, when you stitched it, who it was for, anything you want, as much information or as little as you want, and you then pop the card inside the library card. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and then you can fix it on the back of your project. I think that is so super cool. It's retro, it's fun, it's functional because you don't forget all the information. And there are a pack of 12, so you get 12 of the cards and 12 of the little sort of manila card envelopes as well. So I'll pop those back in the bag. So all these are still available from Fat Quarter Shop if you wanted to treat yourself. So those are going in with the prize. So what have we got so far? We've got the cross stitch journal, the library cards, and a pack of the FQS floss bitties. These are plastic floss drops. These are all stitching themed ones, and there are, I think you get, it doesn't say on the pack, I've got a feeling there's 20 in a pack, so quite a lot. It's quite a chunky pack. They've all got floss and cross stitch related designs on this pack. So all these are courtesy of Fat Quarter Shop, the bag courtesy of me. And if you'd like to enter this Let's Pretend giveaway, please use the word pretend in your comment down below. Please, rules for the giveaway, don't mention the word giveaway, freebie or anything like that in your comments. Let's keep trolls away. Please be over 18 because I will need to ask for your actual physical address, and please be a subscriber and like the video as well. That would be very kind of you, and I will announce the winner on the next episode. Right, we are doing very, very well now. I'm pleased because I feel stuff's moving. It's all moving from here to here, but that's fine because it means we're actually getting some stuff shared, and it's just nice to get caught up. Okay, WIPS at the moment, I'm all about Christmas. Everything is Christmas, full steam ahead, because I've got quite a lot of Christmas projects that just didn't make it to completion last year. So in my bag here, which is a big heavy bag, this is a Laurie Holt bag from Fat Quarter Shop, and in here I've got all my Christmas WIPS. So I've brought them all in. Have I got any? What's this one here? A languishing one here. Oh, that was some cast stitching I was doing. I'll share that next time. Let's put that down as we're going to get, or I'm going to get very confused. Okay, so in here are all my Christmas WIPS. So I'm going to get them out. I've got one WIP that I'm working on in the car at lunchtime when I'm at work. And I usually tend to choose something that's got a slightly higher count fabric, so I don't need to worry about having a magnifier or any sort of lighting issues. I mean, it's lunchtime, so the natural light is pretty good, but I wouldn't be able to stitch on 36 count, for example, without a magnifier, so I tend to use things that are a bit bigger. Okay, so let's have a little look. None of these are ironed. If they've been started, they're not ironed. Some of these haven't been started, but I might make a cheeky start on a few of them. So in here I have, this is the Merry Birds collection of pillows by Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. You'll know by how often I mention Heartstring Samplery, they are one of my favourite cross-stitch design houses, and that's Merry Birds. I did do Deck the Halls last year as part of a swap and loved it, so I had every intention to get my stitch on and get these stitched for me. I've got a new pack of Belfast 32 count sparkly, I don't know if the camera's picking up the sparkles there, linen that I got from Wool Warehouse here in the UK. Really recommend for Swygut fabric. And I've got all the cord for in here. They're in a bit of a jumble. There's a ring, and then there's a big jumble of flosses that aren't actually on the ring, so I don't know what was going through my head at that point in time. But this these patterns feature, I'm just separating them for you, the DMC Etoile threads, which are a little bit different from their regular stranded floss. They're a little bit sort of fuzzy and a little bit kinky sort of in their composition, and they've got the sparkle within them. I was a little bit not sure last year when I started stitching the design that was for a swap, but once I started stitching it was absolutely fine and really, really pretty, so I will continue. And these are all the called for colours, and I've randomly got a WIPS on a spool, which is really nice too. So that's a potential. I might make a little start on one of those, seeing as I've got all the fabric and everything in one place. Let's pop that in the bag, tidy as we go. Next up, in here, snowman bag that I made a couple of years ago. In here we have, again, this is plans, but I'm so tempted. This is the Snowball collection by Brenda Gervais. Justin treated me to this and I was very impressed because he got this from Paula at the Patchwork Rabbit, and he even ordered the flosses, so that was impressive. Because I phoned up from work when this had been released. I texted him quickly and said, this is released, can you order it for me because it will sell out? And he did a great job because it turned up with the flosses. But of course time ran out last year, but there are so many in here that I like. You know, just the three on the cover are beautiful. Lovely colour palette. I just need to pop some fabric in with that one and perhaps make a little start on one of those. So that's the next Christmassy WIP. I hope you're all hanging in there and this is not too disjointed. In this bag, this is one of the first bags I ever made with a vinyl front. It's not very nice quality vinyl, unfortunately, but I've popped in here some bits from last year. And first of all, this is the Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design did a mystery stitch along last year called the Cookie Exchange, and that was as far as my exchange went. Super cute though. These are supposed to be cookie cutters, you've probably seen it, and I used some 32 count Murano in the colourway Splash for my fabric. I've got all the flosses here, and I've got the first part of the chart printed out, which I can't show. It is just literally the chart, so I can't show you, but I've got the rest downloaded on my iPad, so I can carry on with that one. And I think that I bought a really cute Christmas wooden mini, there's a lot of words, a mini rolling pin last Christmas that's got Christmas designs on it, a little wooden one, and a little mini cookie cutter, and I thought I would try and make some sort of finish using those. I thought it would be quite cute in the kitchen, on the kitchen windowsill at Christmas. So that's that. Then in my advent calendar last year that I got from Paula, she's much cleverer than I am, and as I was opening my advents I thought, oh wonderful, DMC floss, love a bit of DMC, can't ever have too many. And the colours kept coming out and I thought, really pretty, love them all. Great colour choices, Paula. And then the penny dropped because there was this little Lizzie Kate chart. And this is Nutcracker sleds. And these are, I won't show you obviously the charts, but these are on perforated paper. There's 3 little pieces of the perforated paper. And you can see the 3 designs there. I think I'm going to stitch the Nutcracker first, or possibly the Gingerbread Man, but I am quite drawn to the little cheeky Nutcracker there. And Paula also popped one of the little wooden sled ornaments in my advent as well. That's what I mean, she's clever. It was all thought out as an actual theme, or there was like an actual process behind her thoughts other than mine, which is all a bit random. So yeah, I would really like to get that little sled complete so that I can pop it on the Christmas tree this year. So that's that bag. Let me know how many Christmas WIPs you've got on the go so that I don't feel so bad, because I I could just be somebody that stitched Christmas all year round, quite frankly. I mean, I wouldn't, because I would get fed up with Christmas, but you know what I mean, there's enough WIPS. Next one up, not necessarily Christmas, but seasonal. This is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And so late to the party on this one, so late. But there are some gorgeous finishes of this about, and it's timeless. It's never going to be, it's not, you know, an off the moment chart, is it? This is a classic Brenda Gervais design. And I did make a start. I dyed some fabric myself, which was a bit of an event. And what way up is this? This hasn't seen the light of day for a long time. Let's get my board out and then I can actually show it to you properly. The board's submerged itself under all these other things. Yeah, I had a piece of 32 count. This is terribly crumpled as well. Smooth it out a bit. A piece of 32 count fabric from XG Designs on Etsy, but the shade wasn't right, so I popped some walnut crystals in with it just to knock it back a bit. It was a bit too pinky, and with the house being pink on this, there'd have been too much competition in the pinks. So I've sort of got the outline of the border and made a start on the flowers and this little sort of cartouche here. So again, I really need to give this some love. But all the projects that I have, and I know I'm not the only one, I know there are lots of cross stitchers out there that do work on one thing at a time. I'm trying to think of the word for that, monogamously, and all power to you. I just need to flip between things. Sometimes I'll get my teeth into something like I did with Something Wicked. But other than that, I do like the option to change projects around. So yeah, but I don't know when I'm ever going to get all these things finished, but will it stop me starting new things? I don't think it will. Okay, so that's that one. How are we doing? This is an oldie goldie as well. This is, what's it called? Let's find out. It's Something Village. It's not Nutcracker Village because that's the new one. This is, you're all shouting at me. This is Glitter Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, and these patterns are in a bit of a mess. So you can see it was a series of 9 patterns that you can stitch individually or you can stitch as one big piece, and I've opted for the one big piece because I don't like to make things easy for myself. And this is actually the second iteration of this. The first one actually became a project bag because I wasn't happy with it. And when I look closely, the stitching on this is absolutely atrocious. It's really bad. There's X's going the wrong way, there's half done X's, and it's, yeah, it's, this was when I first got back into cross stitching, so I'll cut myself some slack. But I abandoned it and made the bit that I had done, the first row, into a project bag. So I thought, right, I'm going to start again. I'm going to do it on the called for fabric, which is a 32 count glittery Zweigart, which I love a bit of glitter. And all I got as far as was the first house again. I think it's because it was something that I'd done before. I think once I get past that first row, it'll be fine because it'll be new stitching then, won't it? And I'm using all the called for classic Colourworks. Again, no ring on these flosses, which is a little bit annoying. So I've got a big old jumble, as you can see, of all the classic Colourworks called for. And this time round, I'm using for the gold stitches, I'm using this treasure braid, petite treasure braid. I don't know what colour reference this is. It just says PB03. I'm assuming that's the colour reference. Much easier to use. I had a DMC Diamante and I wasn't really loving that very much at all. So that's Glitter Village. I have also got Nutcracker Village as well, but I'm not even going to kid myself that I'm going to start that one anytime soon. But it'll be fine. It can just chill out until it's time to shine arrives. Oh, I've missed all the patterns out. Let's pop those in. Okay. Right, next Christmas WIP is in my snowman bag. And again, this will be its third Christmas coming out, which is pretty bad. This is from Hands On Design and it's Merry Chalkfall. I'm doing the larger part of the design there. And there's not that much more stitching to be done on this. So that's my progress. Most of the Santas are done. I just need to concentrate on the jar. And this is a 32 count charcoal Zweigart. So it's slightly larger count, but I do need my magnifier for this with it being black, you know, being dark fabric. And again, I'm using all the called for classic Colourworks for this project as well. So you can see I've got plenty to choose from. Okay. And the chart I've missed out. Okay, I'm trying to be tidy, but it's just not working, is it? What I'm stitching on at the moment is, this was my 25th day sale. It's something that Laurie Holt started at the beginning of the year, whereby every 25th day of the month you stitch a Christmas piece with the hope that by the end of the year your piece is finished or very nearly finished. But that's Laurie Holt, not me. I've got one of my favourites out again, Heartstring Samplery, and this is Baby It's Cold Outside. Such a gorgeous design. I love this. And I thought, oh, it's actually not too much stitching. I'll be able to do that if I do it every 25th of the month. Let me show you where I've got to. This is still on the hoop because this is what I'm actually working on. And let's put the board behind so you can actually see. The light is really changing at the moment in here. So I've got the big house done and a bit of a tree. And the beginnings of the B for baby. And that's literally, I wasn't planning on starting the text, but last night threaded my needle with the brown instead of the dark green. So I thought, well, I'm not wasting that or pulling it off. I'm just going to start stitching the B because that's how my mind works. And this is, the fabric is, I think it's called Espresso. Yeah, it's Fibre on a Whim, 32 count Espresso. And it's really lovely fabric. It's got some really nice mottling on it, which I love. And just as a side note, I've been experimenting a little bit with hoops. I always stitch in a hoop because I find it just makes my stitching much neater. I can stitch in hand, but I'm not really happy with how my stitches look. So I've been experimenting with a couple of different hoops. This is one of the Nerge hoops. This is like a rectangular shaped one that I picked up on Amazon. And I really like this. I like the shape of it. I like that because the design is sort of landscape, I can pop it that way. It holds the fabric really nice and firm. So that one is, I'm quite happy with. I love wooden hoops, but a lot of my wooden hoops don't really seem to give me that grip that I really need to pull the fabric taut. Hence trying some of these different ones. The other one that I tried, and I really love this, this has been in my lunchtime stitching bag, is one of these Morgan hoops. Again, it's a plastic hoop, but I particularly like this one because it's got this butterfly wing nut thing on here, you know, this little tightening up thing. Makes it really easy to tighten up. And the same as the Nerge, it's actually got, I don't know if you can see, it does actually have a raised groove here, and then that sits into a little dip there. So once your fabric's inside, it's trapped in the groove, really, it sits into the groove and then it's held in place really tightly. So if you're in the market for a new hoop, I would highly recommend either of these. I think if push came to shove, I would go for the Morgan. I think this is my preferred out of the two, but the Nerge is also really good. And these come in different sizes, but I don't like to have my hoop too big because then I feel like my hand can be quite far away from where I'm stitching, if that makes sense. So that's just a little aside on hoops. So that's Baby It's Cold Outside, and the rest of what's in this bag is all just what's left over from my secret stitching. And the bag was actually part of my advent from Paula last year as well, with all the little snow globes. Okay, that just leaves, oh well, just another 2 plans, Christmas plans, things that might make an appearance this year. And I love this design so much. I know that I won't get this, or these, because I plan to stitch 2 of them. I won't get these done in time for this year. But if I can find all the bits, I'll show you. This is from Christine at Whilst Iris Naps Designs. And this is, G is for gingerbread. And I think this is the cutest gingerbread man ever. And I love the way it's been finished with a little tiny gingham bow and a charm around his neck. So my plan is to stitch 2 of these, a lady gingerbread and a gentleman gingerbread, and they will have the charms around their neck with Justin and I's initials. I know it's schmaltzy, but I thought it'd be really cute to have a little pair of gingerbread people that can represent us at Christmas time. So I've got all the, I haven't got any fabric in this bag, but I do have the flosses, I've got the DMCs, and I did actually on Christina's, I don't know if it was on her, it might have been on her website or on the pattern, she shared a link on Etsy where she got the charms, and I've got the N and the J already, so I'm all prepared. I just need to actually get some stitching done and get them finished and put their little charms around their necks. But I think that is such a super cute pattern, and of course lovely for children, really cute for children. Final plan, Christmas plan, is this is Let It Snow, and this is from White House Stitchery, which is Heather. She's on Etsy as well. Let me get this out. And I am a little bit obsessed with snow globes, and I thought this was such a gorgeous design. Little gingerbread house in the snow globe. Love that one. I've got all the flosses ready in a bag there. They're all good to go. Again, that's very much a plan, so whether it happens or not, I don't know, but I like to know that it's all good to go if I want it. Okay, and my cast stitching, which is also Christmas themed, this is the one I showed you earlier in the gingerbread glitter village bag, and this is Snowballs for Sale by Laurie Holt. And if I get the chart out and show you, so it's this one. I think this one came out last Christmas time. Really cute. And this is on a, I think it's 25 count Lugana. So this is really good for lunchtime cast stitching. Let me show you my progress. Again, excuse the hoop marks and the crunkles and whatever. I've just started on the snowman's little face. He's actually got a needle through his head at the moment, because I am terrible for losing my needles in the car. I don't know why I haven't got a needle minder on this, I've got plenty of them. But that's my progress on that, and all the called for DMCs are here. So gorgeous colours. So that keeps me busy at lunch times. And that is all the WIPS. Well, it's not all the WIPS, but it's all the Christmas WIPS. Okay, let's move on now to some happy mail. I'll bring some things along I can show you. Is that everything? Sorry, I just need to check these notes to make sure. Before I move on to the happy mail, I'm just going to quickly show you my quilting WIP before I forget, because it's sitting here and that's why I didn't remember it. Again, it's something that I started a while ago, but I have picked it up again. It's a free pattern. It's Peppermint Forest by Jedi Craft Girl Amanda Niederhauser. and I saw this on her Instagram. That's the setting there for the table runner, but there's also a setting for a quilt which will look like that. And I've got a huge amount of half square triangles all good to go here, all literally ready to go. And I'll show you what I've pieced together so far just quickly so you can see. So you can see the peppermint blocks and the Christmas trees, and it's quite wide, it's sort of 5, I won't be able to get it all in frame, but so I've got a couple of rows done, and I think it's 5 rows deep. So I'm looking forward to getting, I'm really going to push to get this one done in time for Christmas. Yeah, I nearly forgot to show you that. That's my Christmas sewing whip. Okay, let's pop that down. Let's not lose my half square triangles. And then we'll move back to Happy Mail. I mentioned earlier that Fat Quarter Shop had donated the prize, some of the prizes that I'm giving away. They also sent, and I'm not gonna go through everything because there is a huge amount, but I popped it all in the Heartfelt bag. But for example, there is a huge amount of floss bitties. So these will all be coming in future giveaways. I've got a cutting mat from Fig Tree, which is double-sided, super cute. I've got one of these gorgeous Laurie Holt denim colour bags to give away. There's another chart in here. There's all manner of wonderful things which will be coming in future giveaways. So thank you again to Fat Quarter Shop for those. And the other thing they sent me, I meant to bring the planner that I'm using at the moment, the new Be In My Bonnet planner. This is the 2023 one. Last year's one was turquoise, and I made a cover for it. I did a little video of that. This is the 2023 one. So instead of a book of days, I've been using Laurie Holt planner, and it's all sectioned out with the months of the year down these tabs, and it's really good. I do sort of like the plan here, like the outline of what I want to do or what I need to do if I've got any sort of commitments, stitch-alongs and things like that. And then obviously you've got your day-to-day where you've got plenty of time, plenty of space, sorry, to write down your daily plans. You can even tick off to make sure you're hydrated with your drinks. Use it for your, your household to-dos, your work to-dos, your crafty to-dos, your quilting, your cross-stitching, anything like that. They're just such a nicely made book, and lovely with the bee embossing on the front. So that will fit into the cover that I made last year. So I'll be popping that in soon to make some plans for next year. And the other Happy Mail that I received was from Melanie, and Melanie is Thomas at Lily on Instagram. I'll pop this down the bottom here, and she contacted me and asked me if I would be interested in seeing some of her hand-dyed flosses and her cross-stitch. It's like a monthly project kit. So yes, please, that would be lovely. I saw on her Instagram and her website the beautiful things that she has, and she sent me, I've popped photographs on my Instagram as well if you want to look at the photographs. And for those of you who don't know, it's just Bumble Stitches on Instagram, so you can find me easily there. These are some of her beautiful hand-dyed flosses, and they are absolutely stunning. This is the Harvest pack, and she does a pack every month. So I'll run through some of these so you can see. This is Bulbab. If I murdered this pronunciation, then I'm sorry. This is a gorgeous, like a bay sort of green. This next one is Khaki. This has got some really lovely variegation. I don't know if you can see that being picked up by the camera, sort of green to tan. Then we have Dessert. Again, lovely variegation in this. The hand dyeing is superb. This is Cognac. rich golden colour. What have we got next? This is Chocolat. Oh, and it's that lovely sort of hot chocolate colour. Beautiful. They have a very nice richness to them. This is Châtaigne. I don't know what Châtaigne means. If you know, let me know. But it's a very pretty colour, like a terracotta colour. The next is Terracotta. A bit bolder and quite darker towards the bottom. Beautiful. These are all 8 metres, 100% cotton, 6 stranded. This one is Real. Again, beautiful variegation there. Fabulous for autumn projects, really beautiful. This is Curcuma. Bit bolder orange, perfectly perfect for your sort of pumpkins and things like that you might be stitching. And this one is Carub. Again, more subtle variegation in this, but you have to see these in the flesh to appreciate how beautiful they are. So that was the floss pack. If that wasn't enough to receive all those gorgeous flosses, she also sent me their Biscornu kit, which was for October. Now, it comprised of a piece of, it looks like it's a 20 or an 18 count Ada with the needle. These kits come with absolutely everything you need for the project. So great for yourself, but brilliant, really good idea as a gift for a cross stitcher, because you don't have to worry about them having to source any other supplies. It's all in there. So there's a needle and the fabric. Again, a selection of these beautiful hand-dyed flosses, and there's some stunning colours in here, all labelled up and ready to go with the symbols. You get the chart, and as you can see, it's for a Biscornu, and you've got 2 options in this. You can either make, gosh, pronunciation is really going to let me down here, isn't it? So there's one which is like a ginseng sort of leaf, and the other one is more of a maple leaf. I won't show you the charts obviously, but you can see, so this is the more sort of ginkgo ginseng leaf, and this is the maple leaf one here. So you've got enough flosses and fabric, it looks like, to make both of those. And she gives you this booklet is very detailed. It's got some instructions on the back if someone's a beginner. The charts are full colour. As I said, I can't show you those for obvious reasons, but you also get some really good instructions showing you how to actually put the Biscornu together. Very, very detailed. And as I said, you don't need to worry about having anything else to make this, because in this little tiny bag you get, if I can get them out, you get the ribbons to tie on your Biscornu, and you even get, and I don't want to drop these, you even get the, did you hear that? It's on the table, I can see it. You get the tiny buttons and beads for finishing as well. And there was something in the parcel and I thought, well, what is that? I don't know what that is. She even gives you some polyfill in a little package to pop in the middle of your Biscornu. So as I said, absolutely everything is inside that box. And it comes in, I popped the threads in here, but it comes in a little box with tissue paper. So perfect to wrap up and give to a friend or treat yourself. If you do want to take advantage, Melanie has kindly given us a discount code, which is Bumble10, and if you apply that discount code, I'll pop a link down below to her shop. If you apply that discount code, you can get 10% off your first monthly box or 10% off a colour pack of threads. So thanks again, Melanie. Beautiful, beautiful flosses and kit, and yeah, it's very, very kind of you to share, and I hope some of you take advantage of that discount code. Talking of generous people, the lovely Vykky at West Green Loft Yarns, I shared some of her fabric, hand-dyed cross-stitch fabrics and hand-dyed silk flosses on my last episode, and Vykky kindly, very, very kindly reached out to me and asked me to choose a piece of fabric from her shop. And everything that Vykky sends or produces or ships out is just a different level of pretty. It really is. It came in this gorgeous, this looks like it's a hand-dyed bag. It's actually a very soft pink with her logo on, a little cotton bag. And I chose, this fabric is Sleepy Hollow. You can see her little tag. It's just perfection. Yeah, this is Sleepy Hollow 36 count linen. So I chose this. So thank you, Vykky. That was very, very kind of you. So I'm saving that. I've got a sampler chart that I've got in mind for that. So I shall keep that safe until that time. Now we are whizzing through now, and it's just as well because we've just gone over an hour mark, and I don't think I'm going to have to edit. I think we're okay. The next thing I wanted to mention to you was just a little bit of fabric that I've been getting, sewing fabric. If you are a Laurie Holt fan, as you know I am, and you're in the UK, I would heartily recommend the So Hot UK Laurie Holt Fat Quarter Monthly Club. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But it's, I think I've had my 3rd or 4th one now, and they are really, really brilliant. You get 8 fat quarters every month. I've kept the last couple of months so that I can show you. So this was October's, and this is all from the Prairie line. And sometimes they, I think there's a piece of fabric missing. Oh no, there isn't. I know one of them I used for my You Are the Boss finish. So these are the fat quarters in the October Club. Gorgeous autumnal shade. You can make some lovely fabric pumpkins with these. And they popped a little freebie in with this one. Excuse the rustling. And it's from the Prairie line. It's a little vinyl zipper pouch. Really, really cute. So it's a really nice club to be in, because I kind of, it's, you know, it's obviously everything is a considered purchase these days, but it isn't overly expensive, and it's just a really nice way to add to fabric stash for, you know, quilting, finishing your pillows, or, you know, anything like that, anything you want to make, project bags. And this month's just turned up, and this is gorgeous. This is the new ginghams. Is it just called ginghams? Yeah, Laurie's B Ginghams collection. You always get a little card telling you exactly what you've got, in case obviously you want to get more, you know exactly what the fabric is. And this one has got some gorgeous golds and teals and a little bit of neutral at the top there, the black and the sort of pebble colour. So those will be fabulous for finishes. We're almost there. There was one thing that I wanted to share with you as well before I leave you for today, and that was that I mentioned to you last time it was a sad time for our family, that we did lose my Auntie Tina very sadly, and she was a keen crafter. She was like a lot of us. She was a fabulous crocheter. She could crochet the most beautiful baby shawls and blankets and things like that. Very, very detailed. She was a knitter. She was quite a keen knitter. She could sew. She used to do a lot of sewing, you know, some years ago. And it turns out she was an avid watcher of the channel, which was always nice. But she was also, it appears, a cross stitcher. And my cousin was doing the very sad thing of sorting through his mum's stuff, and gave me some things, and I'm not going to get upset, but I'm just going to share this with you. And he found this, and I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. He found this cross stitching in a bag. It's from a kit. It's a baby sampler that she was working on. I don't know who it was for. I don't know which baby, if it was in the family or if it was a friend that she was working on it for. It's all anchor threads. They're all on here. It was, as I say, just in a bag among her things. And if I can find my board, I'll show you. it really resonated with me when I was given this, because it makes you think about all the things you're working on. And I thought, goodness, my daughter Lulu is going to have a real task on her hands if, not if, but when I'm not here anymore. Yeah, the WIPS, the quilting, the knitting, the stuff is just like... But anyway, let me show you. So this was Tina's cross stitching, and you can see her needle's still in here, and it's interesting to see she was working her stitches by doing 1/2 of the X first in a row, and then she was going to work her way back. So what I was thinking, first of all, I thought I'm going to finish this off for her. It's on 14 count on Ada, which is not my favourite fabric, but that's not what this is about. Now I don't know if I need to do it as a baby sampler. I know it's got the pram on it, but I'm kind of thinking that I'll bring the border down. Let me show you the chart again. I was thinking that I'll bring the border down, do the row of hearts, and where it's got rosy, I think I'll lose the teddies. And I know it's the pram and it's not really relevant, but Tina stitched that. And then I think I'll put Tina's name, finish the border along the bottom, and make it into a little pillow. And if, you know, I'm not sure if her son will want it. I'm not sure if it's his thing, but I'll be more than happy to keep it in my sewing room, or if Mum or my other auntie wanted it, they could have it if they wanted to keep it. So I'm just going to finish Tina's work for her, and I'm not going to get upset. Okay, thank you ever so much for joining me today. I'm sorry that I'm losing it a little bit now, but it's been great to catch up with you all, and please do enter the giveaway. Tell me what you're up to in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you all again really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.